There's a reason names matter in motorsports. Stick around, we're going to get into it on Unity Motorsports Garage. The IHRA just recently announced that they're changing the name of Factory Showdown to ProStock. For me, that's exciting, but there's more to the story, like always. You just can't rename something and inherit all of the history that comes along with the name change itself. Now, mind you, ProStock has deep roots that go back to 1970, but in fact, it was before 1970 that this heads-up group of racers got together and come up with different rule packages and then presented it to the NHRA in 1970. What NHRA did was actually pretty brilliant with the name ProStock, because what it implied was stock cars racing at a professional level. That's something that captivated an entire group of people, because you can name it Heads Up Super Stock, you can name it Ultra Stock, but it doesn't have the same flair to it. Now, what made ProStock NHRA so special was the cars were relatable. These were cars that you could go down and buy off the showroom floor and have pretty much the same car that they were racing on the racetrack. And that's what made ProStock so relatable to the general public. You had your Ford and Mopar guys battling it out, and then they were battling it out against GM. Now, it can be said you can have your pick of any generation ProStock class that there were, because it went through many changes throughout the years, and everybody's going to have different opinions on this. But for me, the heyday of ProStock was in the first 12 years. You had big blocks, 1970, 71, and then changes came about allowing for smaller cars, small blocks, Linco transmissions, and then it stayed like that until 1982. And what that did was totally change the game, making it non-relatable to the general public, because at that point in time, there were no big block Camaros roaming around on the street, or any other big block cars for that matter. The change that IHRA is making, I think, is huge, and I had the opportunity to sit down with Sam Auxier Jr., which is a hero of mine. So he is a forefather of the sport of ProStock drag racing, and to get his perspective on the current state of affairs.
In the beginning, where all this originated at was from NASCAR drag racing, and most people, these people don't even never heard of it,
Right.
and nor do they want to like recognize it. But anyway, it started in about, I think it was 1966. It went on for about 2 years, 3 years. Okay. And then NASCAR pulled out of it, or Walt Menzer pulled out, one or the other. We don't know who struck who, but so it converted then to National Association of Auto Racing, NAAR, a wedge and a Hemi. There were weight breaks in those,
Right.
so I don't recall exactly what it was, but anyway, the weight breaks between the classes are in between the cars. Everything was heads up. We didn't do any other kind of racing, but that proceeded on until 1969, and Jenkins and all they ran with us. I mean, that's what we did, and Bill was there when everybody else was there, and so anyway, get up to the end of '69, and NHRA pops up with, "Oh, we're going to have ProStock next year." Well, okay, we're going to have it. Well, you didn't invent it, but you just pulled what we had and somehow put it over into your category.
That was Ultra Stock.
That was Ultra Stock.
Right. And then AHRA had what? Heads Up Super Stock?
And AHRA basically had basically the same thing. AHRA had the same type of deal. Everybody fed off of it because it drew people. When you look at Atco, New Jersey, My God, there was huge crowds up at Atco, New Jersey to see ultra stock cars. And because they were heads up, and they were fast, they were put on a great show. And that's what it's all the show. The rest of it is, whatever. But the show is what we had to have to make this successful. So anyway, NHRA comes along and they say, "Well, we're going to make this pro stock," like they invented it. But anyway, they go on, and we go into 71, and then somewhere along 72. And I'm probably got my years wrong there, but it's basically the same thing. We come up now. We're going to small blocks. We can't use 427s no more, or any of that machine. Now we've obsoleted the chassis. We obsoleted the engines, and now we're with 351, 358 engines. Like, overnight we're supposed to build new cars and new engines, and for what? And of course, it evolved into the monster it is today. And who in the world wants to see it? It was all the manufacturer. They were either Ford people, Chevy people, or Mopar people. That's the way it was. But you had something that was exciting to whoever they may side with.
And people could relate to the cars because they had a car just like it.
Exactly. So all these things, relatable and competition, was all the way it flowed. And I'll say one other thing. I ain't going to mention names, but I think basically NHRA, like they've always done, they have let the racers decide the show. Oh, don't let that happen. And that's what they did. And I'm not going to name the racers, but they're the ones that wanted this and they wanted that. So for whatever reason, NHRA followed along with that advice, which was totally out the left field, but that's the way NHRA operates. So we have a whole new game in town now. So we'll see what, and hopefully they have enough knowledge, I'm sure they do, to go back to the original ProStock deal.
So with the IHRA changing the name of Factory Showdown and making that the ProStock headliner, now you actually have Fords with Coyote engines, you have Challengers with Hemis, and then you got the Chevrolet with the LT, which I hope that this makes General Motors bring Camaro back in production, because there's no new Camaros being built.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you got to have those mixture of cars to get the fans. Right now, you watch it on TV, or you be there, one or the other. You see it on TV, the Camaros, the Camaro show comes up, and where the people head? They head to the concession stand. They head over to something else. Head down to the pits to see the nitro cars.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they don't stay around for that. Can NHRA see this? I mean, are they that totally blind or what? Maybe they are. I don't know.
Sam, I really appreciate you taking the time to do that with me. Sit down. I've known Sam for a few years. That is one of the beauties of YouTube. That is how I met Sam when I did my Boss 429 history video. So thank you once again. You see that he has pretty much the same perspective as me. But here's the thing, okay? You can't just change the name to ProStock and expect everybody to be enamored with this new class. It's not going to happen like that. There's going to be some other things that need to be put into play. Namely, I think the IHRA needs to get in contact with Ford, GM, and Stellantis, who makes Dodge, of course, and get them on board with competing on the factory level at their racetracks. That will bring money, and I think it will bring competition between the manufacturers once again, because that's what needs to happen. The brands have to have an invested interest, and ProStock for the past 30, 40 years has not had that brand connection to actually establish a reason for the brands to get involved to pursue sponsorship, because they have nothing to gain out of it, because they do not manufacture that engine. They do not manufacture that car. I also think that what needs to happen is to see match racing come back between these cars. I would love to be able to go to my home track, Shadyside Dragway, and see two of these ProStock cars doing battle, whether they're testing, doing a 2 out of 3 match race, or even better, what if they change the tires, change the tune-up, and go run a class like Little Gangsters, slow the car down to go run Little Gangsters. But what it will do is we need to get the youth back involved, get them into drag racing. And how can you do that is having factory back teams, putting their skin in the game so that they know that, hey, this is the best Ford has to offer, this is the best Mopar has to offer, this is the best GM has to offer, and let it be settled down on the racetrack. That's what I want to see. I think that's what the IHRA is shooting for here, and I wish them all the luck. I can't wait for this 2026 season. If you want to see me, I will be in Dunn, North Carolina in March for the IHRA opening race. Going to go down there with my brother. So if you want to see me, Unity Motorsports Garage, come on down there. I'll put the date at the bottom of the screen here. I can't wait to see what comes of this, because I think with the right people in play, pushing this back to the manufacturers, getting the support of them involved, putting on performance clinics, whatever you want to call it, let these drivers get social media accounts like Clay Milliken does on YouTube. That way they get a spotlight on them and their team. I think it would be super cool to see ProStock reinvented, coming back with cars that are actually relatable, because that's what's missing. Nobody wants to go see Team Camaro, whether it's KB, Titan, or Elite, go down the track. Something to think about. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget, I'm offering memberships to the channel. If you want to help support my efforts in getting these engines right here on the dyno, and click that subscribe button. It's free. That helps me out, helps you out. So until next time, this is Andy from Unity Motorsports Garage. I will catch you later. It's time to go play in the snow with the kids.